Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another episode of Maryam Alima. What do you know about Islam? And as you can see, we have a beautiful sister here with us. This is Sister Aneesa Muhammad, and I'm going to give her a chance to introduce herself after I open up. And I actually took this from her because I wasn't doing it for the longest time. But Assalamu alaikum, I greet you in the greeting words of peace. In the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum, I first bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who appeared to us in the person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad, to whom praise is forever due. I further bear witness that he rose the exalted Christ, the Mahdi, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and with their two minds, they are guiding the Messiah in our midst, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And it is in their three great names that I greet you again with the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, ma'am.
First and foremost, this is not an interview for the listening and viewing audience. I just realized I'm actually going to stop this because we'll see how it sounds afterwards because you're coming through the computer. But anyhow, this is not an interview. This is a conversation between two sisters. And I guess I need to broach it and tell the people what we're talking about. So I titled it, or what's been pressing upon my mind is Undue Familiarity. Say it for me. Undue familiarity breeds contempt and chasteness of the mind and body. And so, yes, I guess I'll start off with telling the audience why the conversation is being had. So there's been events that have taken place in my life that has led me to realize, or I'm learning of the correct relationship between FOI and MGT, because when you cross boundaries, that breeds contempt when the sexes are too close. Mm-hmm. And there was two recent events, or not, there were situations that happened rather close together that allowed me to see the error of my ways. Mm-hmm. And that sisters and brothers can't and should not indeed be friends. We may be cordial, loving, friendly, love brother and sister as we love ourselves, and to be kind and do good to all. Those are guiding rules number 6 and 8 of our guiding rule of conduct. So, but that does not mean that we create friendships to where we're speaking to the opposite sex on a daily basis for extended periods of time. So with that being said, that's our conversation for today. Sister Aneesa, first, I didn't even let you introduce yourself. I apologize.
Okay. So my name is Sister Aneesa. I am currently a member of Charlotte Muslims and Muslim 36.
36. It's 36.
36 by way of Plainfield, New Jersey, boss number 80. Recently married. Was about to be going on 4 months. January 1st would be our 4th month anniversary. I'm a 3rd generation Muslim in the Nation of Islam. So myself, my father, and my grandparents, owner of Ascendant Collections, co-owner with my mother of, she's wearing it, co-owner of Finesse Hair Care with my mother, host of the Master Call in the Women's Circle. And I believe that is...
What about the lives on the IG about business?
Oh, yes. Also, I do with my sister Brielle and sister Sheba, Femininity & Co. We have a company together where we talk about femininity and entrepreneurship, because that is something that is becoming more and more obvious that we're doing femininity wrong, not just in business, because what you do somewhere, you do anywhere. It just spills over to us doing feminine business in an unfeminine way, but we realized we were just not feminine. And it spilled over into business, but it showed up everywhere in our lives. So we wanted to discuss that. We do that every Wednesday on Instagram, and also striving to be a YouTube sensation. So make sure you subscribe to ASAP. Okay.
Thanks. Okay. Yes. What was I gonna say? Well, you already said it, Ace, and she's starting a cooking show. She's already announced it, so I'm not spilling the beans. Starting a cooking show with her husband, brother Justin Nazeer. First of all, say his name.
My husband's name is Justin Nazeer.
We love you, brother. So yes, all praise due to Allah. All right, so into the conversation we go. First, I wanted to parse the word chaste, because I never thought that I would be in the position that I am in spiritually, and I'm ever grateful to Allah. But what is more pressing on my mind, and I'm realizing, is that, or I actually realized it a long time ago, is that chasteness is just not of the body, but it is of the mind, which is why guiding rule of conduct number 9, do not lust. If your mind, what did Jesus say? If it's in the mind, you done did it already. You guilty as charged. Yeah. So chaste, abstaining from extramarital or from all sexual intercourse, not having any sexual nature or intention, without ornamentation, simple or restrained. Definitely wanted, so chastity, chasteness of the mind. Now, since we are taught and told that we should work with our could-be potential courtship mate, FOIMGT, like, we get to know each other through the work, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to know, like, what is that bridge? What is that line to not cross, to not create contempt?
It's a very fine line.
It's very fine, honey.
It's a very fine line.
Looking at it like, wait.
And I was actually having a conversation with my mother. No, I'll get into that a little bit later. Because that kind of goes into more like spiritual growth and stuff like that, which, doing the work is spiritual growth. But I believe, yes, we absolutely are. If we're in the nation, we should be found working. So therefore, we're, by virtue of that, wherever you go, because we don't know who our husband is until we know who our husband is. Wherever we go as Muslims, we should be found working the mission. So wherever you go, you potentially could be working around your soon-to-be husband. Mm-hmm. So if we're working, then we're just working. If a captain is captains are supposed to be married. Say you're a lieutenant. Lieutenants don't necessarily have to be married, right? You're a lieutenant. If you're working inside the mosque. Huh?
I didn't know that.
I think all officials are supposed to be married, but I know that captains for sure have to be married and ministers have to be married. Because it keeps you balanced. It keeps the balance. Like those in authority. But I don't think lieutenants lieutenants are like first officers. I don't believe that they have to be married.
Yeah, no.
But you say you're in a mosque, you have a lieutenant, a sister lieutenant, and a brother lieutenant. They're absolutely having to work together in a lot of cases, mm-hmm. right? Especially say if we're going out in the community. We have to get together to make sure, okay, the lieutenant is talking to the other sister, like, okay, how many sisters do you need? Because we need this many amount of brothers, da. However, if it's really done properly, he would find that out through her sister captain.
Praise be to Allah.
He would even have that conversation with her. He would find that out through the chain of command. So that keeps mm-hmm. that fine line that's there. We don't even see the fine line. We don't even see the fine line anymore because we're not, the half of the time that we know that there's a fine line because we're tiptoeing around it. trying to find our way. We all been there, trying to find our way around this fine line. Mm-hmm. And if we went through the proper protocol, the lieutenant would find out his information from his brother captain. That brother captain would only get the information from the sister captain. And then trickle that down to the sister lieutenant.
So, I mean, that's just the basis of the conversation. That conversation should not extend into personal conversation.
What do they need to talk about personally?
This is what I'm trying to get. Look, I had to ask Allah. This is something that I asked Allah for me personally. Is I said, I would like to see men as trees. And then I said, okay, wait, Allah, I ain't trying to lose my mind. I had to make trick. But the sentiments when I said it was, I wanted Allah to not allow me to find any man attractive that was not my husband. So let me not see his
prayer. Oh my God.
Because I don't want to be distracted.
Right.
Whilst working with the family, I don't need to be distracted. So I don't even need to see you literally, y'all have no face. What's a face? I don't know who you're talking about because I don't even see his face. Okay. So that is something that I asked Allah.
I totally understand that. I had sent me the same prayer. I literally didn't want to notice any men around me until I saw my husband. Like, Allah, just please. I don't feel like, because as women, we enjoy attachment. And that is, it was a thought that I was thinking of the other day, like, how many of us have been in abusive relationships and nobody was abusing us but ourselves? Like, he didn't do nothing wrong because he didn't even know he was in a relationship. He was in a relationship in my mind. So therefore, now I'm mad at him, I'm crying, but it's like, I just sat here and I broke my own heart. Broke my own heart. So because women, we desire attachment, because we were once attached to the so-created God. We were once inside of his subconscious. So we desire that closeness to the God. Like, we desire that. And we absolutely should have that, but we should have that with the one that God sends. Yeah. And not the one that we take on.
Or manifest in our minds thinking it's them, and it's like, what are you doing? That's not your job. That's another thing that I'm having to, okay, so here comes a quotable or a quotation. Actually, I wanted to live. So I was listening to, first, let me say this. As women and sisters in the Nation of Islam, we do not believe in boyfriend, girlfriends. We believe in courtship partners. And within courtship, there are rules and regulations to protect the women. So there is no undue familiarity to breed contempt, because I don't need to know you like that, and you don't know me like that. What you crying about? I don't know him. You don't know me. There you go. That is the purpose. Praise be to Allah. So this is something that, I'm sorry. It's all good. It's all good. So I was listening to Closing the Gap broadcasting with Dr. Wesley from last year, the scientific assault on Black America. And the question was posed to him, what would you say was/is the most painful aspect of your transformation, i.e. the chiseling? And he answered it, as I learned from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the biggest obstacle to go often is the ego. And I bring that up because when you are living in the world and operating other than yourself, and you are in relationships and you garner those relationships in ways that are unbecoming to who you are truly supposed to be, when you're now striving to accept your own and be yourself, you have to change all of those things, and you kind of get it's the ego. You say, well, I know I used to can pull them. Understand. And so, now being a woman of chasteness, I feel like I'm chasing the old me, the old Mariam, because I'm not getting that, nor should I be, praise be to Allah. And now get into your right mind. I don't want all these brothers up on my neck. I only want my husband. I want them to see me as a tree too. Don't see me. Who is Sister Mariam? Dang, I don't know who she be, because I'm married. Praise be to Allah.
Exactly.
But I was realizing that it was that part of my ego that I was still chasing after men.
I can 100% agree with that. Before I got married, I went into like do y'all not see me? Like, do you like, why? I was very confused on why I was single for so long. Like,
this is
why?
not ego, and this is not conceitedness, but we are not unattractive.
We're not unattractive.
We're not unattractive.
Okay? So my ego was like, do you not, I mean, do you not see me? Like, what more do you want from me? Like, what more do I have to do? I'm on Instagram. Y'all see me. I got all my teeth.
Striving.
Come on, like, there's not, like, what is it? I'm trying to post these dinners so y'all can see that a sister could cook. Like, I'm trying to do it all. I am trying to do it all. And it just wasn't. And the thing is, this is the thing. It wasn't that it wasn't yielding attention. It was that it wasn't yielding the attention from the people in my mind that I wanted.
Oh, Allah.
Because as women, we get attention. Mm-hmm. We get the attention. Let's keep it 100%. Yeah. We get the attention, but it feels like we're not getting any attention when we're not getting the attention from the person that we want to get it from.
Yes.
So
like, not the Dutch. The Dutch. I wasn't checking for them.
I wasn't checking for you. Why are you in my messages? I wasn't checking for you. So it becomes real quick like, I don't want the brothers in my messages, and it's like, then even getting that into our minds. No, let's be really honest. On most occasions, it's not that you don't want. I'm saying the brothers on my DMs. No, you don't want them brothers that keep hitting you up
in your DM.
But let that brother that you've been having your eye on hit you up. And say, oh hey, and that's what we have to get out of our minds. Is like, no matter who, because the sentiment is, at the end of the day, the same attractive brother that came into your DMs has the same mindset as the unattractive brother that came into the DMs. Exactly. It's just the only difference is I don't want you and I want you. So I am going to lower myself, not for you, but I will lower myself for you.
And that is something I learned, that no matter what situation that you're ever in, you cannot compromise your morals. Yeah. Like, your morals is all that you have as a virtuous woman.
Okay.
And I was listening to a virtuous woman, or what it's called Return of the Virtuous Women with Mother Tynetta. And that kind of goes into the femininity. So I'm gonna hold on to that, because that's like, but I'm gonna hold on to that. We were talking about the ego, and yes. Well, maybe we can go there, because we'll go here. So I was listening to that, and I wrote an article about fighting for femininity. And in that article, I let it be known that I'm very confused about what it all means to be in your feminine bag. And because again, we were raised in this wicked upside down world that women do not know how to be women, girls do not know how to be girls. What is it to be feminine? Like, what does that mean? Right. And so I found myself to be, and I wrote that article before I actually ever listened to this lecture. And she literally says basically what I say in the article. She says, quote, "She is not your competitor. She is not seeking to dominate over you. There is no way in her nature, in her right mind, that she would seek to do that." And with me being in my wrong mind, that was literally my mindset. Right. I was in competition mode all the time. I like to win. And yet again, going into that ego part, I know I can bag them. I'm gonna go get them. I'm supposed to sit down and be the flower and be picked. It is so hard for Mariam within her ego to sit down and trust in Allah, but I'm striving to trust in Allah and just be and strive for that. But yes, very much in a competitive nature mode, and striving to get out of that.
And I dare say, and then I'm gonna read this thing from Naturally Beautiful, because I think it's perfect for what we was just saying prior to.
Yes, ma'am.
I dare say that the ego is rooted in is actually just rooted in insecurity. Because that's what an ego is. When people have like an overextended ego, the ego is normal. We need to be able to feel something. It's like having pride. When you actually look up when somebody says, "Oh, they're prideful," they got to stop being prideful. Having pride is a good thing. to have respect for yourself. Having false pride is not. And what we usually have is a false sense of pride.
Self-aggrandizement, as the minister says.
Yeah, self-aggrandizement. Right. So the ego, somebody like, when we have an overinflated ego, or when we're having conversations about this, about our ego is this, ego is that, it's really, we didn't have any ego. We had insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
We were living inside of insecurity that I could bag them, because it turns into that competition. Even competition in itself is driven out in insecurity. Like, I read something that said, when a woman has that mind shift of I'm important, or something like, what was it? When a woman has the mindset of, I'll just say important for the sake of time, I'm important and I'm gonna prove it, and changes her mindset to I'm important and I don't have to prove it.
Mm-hmm.
That's different. I'm important, I'm gonna prove it. I'm valuable and I'm gonna prove it. I'm good enough and I'm gonna prove it to you. I don't believe that I'm important. I don't believe that I'm valuable, and I don't believe that I'm good enough. That's why I feel like I have to prove it. But if I know that I'm valuable, I'm gonna prove nothing. I have to prove nothing.
Is that what we were doing with our posts?
Huh?
Is that what we were doing with our posts?
Yeah. I can cook it. I can cook it. I'm gonna prove it. I can do that. Prove it. But I wanted to read this from Naturally Beautiful. If you don't got this book, y'all make sure you go and get Naturally Beautiful by Minister Ava. This is from page 133, the end of 133 into the top of 134. And she says, oh, this is great. This goes perfectly. She says, some of us like to boast of our inaction, equating it with righteousness. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't steal, I don't take drugs, I don't fornicate, I don't commit adultery, I don't. Why not? What prevents you from taking a pile of cash out of a drawer at the bank? Is it because that does not belong to you? Or is it because you will go to prison for 25 years? Do you stop at a sign because it is safe and proper to yield to who reached the intersection first? Or is it because you will get a ticket if you are caught? Do you refrain from fornication because you are a chaste woman? Or is it because none of the men you like have expressed any interest? Who's fooling who? Girl!
I remember reading that.
The way she reads us is like, yeah, because who's fooling who? Because it kind of goes back to the conversation before. I want the brothers out of my DMs. No, you want those brothers out of your DMs.
Oh, well, I mean, you may be getting me right now, because honestly, when I read that the first time, I said, well, I don't do those things because I have no desire. So it wasn't for me to like, oh, well, I'm gonna get time out. It was like, no, Allah took that desire away from me.
Right.
But I was slightly fooling myself. It was still manifesting in other ways. It was not a complete chasteness of the mind, totally and completely, when you're still Phoebe.
Yeah.
I was not restrained. I was very, this is very transparent. She'll get mad, but it's okay, because I'm telling you, this was a couple of years ago. This is probably like 2019. I was gonna put out an ad. I was gonna literally put out an ad and be like, okay, so I'm Sister Mariam. I was because I was so ready. I was like,
for the sisters though. I was actually going to do that last year for the sisters. I was literally in sisters DMs, like, send me a picture of yourself. I'm gonna do something. Something clutch for the sisterhood. And I was really about to put out.
Like, maybe they didn't see us yet.
For the sisters, so that the brothers knows who's single. And then I stopped myself after Allah was like, girl. I stopped myself. I was like, no, I don't have to. Because I also wanted it for myself too. That's so the brothers knew that I was also single, but I wanted to bring as many sisters along as possible with me. And I was like, no, this is desperado. This is the epitome of pathetic. We should not. It was during the Reflective Farrakhan challenge. Mm-hmm. And the brothers were able to see all these beautiful sisters. And I remember my brother-in-law was like, what's going on with the brothers? He said, I've seen through this Reflecting Farrakhan challenge that there are so many young, beautiful sisters in our nation. He said this to his wife, my sister. He was like, there's so many young, beautiful sisters in the nation. Why are they single? He was like, I didn't even know that half of these sisters were in the nation, but why are they all single? And he was upset. He was so upset about the amount of single sisters that he saw. And I have two ways for how I see it now that I'm a married woman of why we're so single. But then also the flip side is the reason why I didn't post that ad, as you said, is because it would scream desperate, it would scream pathetic, and it would scream that we don't have any faith that Allah made someone for us. That if, first of all, they know you're single because they're single. They know we're single. We're single right now. And because now that I'm a married woman, we're single. There's so many single sisters because Allah wants us to be right now.
I figured that too.
He desires.
He said, no, I want success.
To have a husband, but I need y'all to focus on me.
Facts, because he wants success. Like with all these divorces that y'all thought y'all was gonna keep on doing in the 80s and the 90s,
we're not having
it. We're not having it.
No.
We're not having it this time when the Messiah leaves and ascends the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because it is going to be a big trial. And if we don't hold fast to Allah,
we have to be very clear about what marriage is. This is, and I believe that like Instagram, not even I believe, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok has watered down marriage to literal, like, to nothingness, to pictures and videos. That's what a marriage is. That has watered it down to, I should only have to say it once and he should just understand. I should only have to say it once and she should just understand. The reality is, now that I am in a marriage, that is false.
That's a lie.
Our stuff. If the faculty of like critical thinking and patience is not in order, that whole marriage is half the faith. Mariam. It is half.
Praise be to Allah.
Faith for real. Because having to think your way and communicate your way out of a situation that can explode is very, very crucial. And Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube does not give us those tools. So then we go into marriage, who doesn't? We go into marriage wanting to be cute, but marriage ain't cute. Marriage is work with cute moments. That's what it is. So we're experiencing all these divorces because we're going into it with the mindset of, I should only have to say it once, you should just understand. No, you're going to say it over and over again. All the time.
How many times do you learn a lesson? So what you mean? Like,
we don't even listen to a lot of first time. What makes us think our husband gonna listen the first time?
I'm glad that we are where we're at, because I actually had a question for you. And we spoke about it earlier, but it goes perfectly with this. So we know that after the fall of 1975 of our beautiful nation, that our beloved minister, you know, he wavered a little bit and turn back. It's okay, because it happens to the best, because he is the best. He's the best. So it happens to the best of us.
That's right.
And I was speaking to a sister friend, and she said, well, what if your husband turns his back on the faith? Or you as a wife, and don't could you just like me, girl, you reacting so fast. She said, what if your husband turns his back on the faith? You know, as a wife, you're supposed to go with him. And I had to think about it. I said, well, dang, I'm so thankful that Mother Khadijah did go. She did not leave him. She did not leave him. And I thank her for that, because and because this is a couple of days ago, so I've had to think about it a couple of times. And I said, you know what? There's a difference between leaving the faith and turning your back on foolery. He didn't leave the faith, technically. He saw that what his father built was no more. So he said,
he went hypocrite.
Who, him?
Yes, he literally said that. He
That
said,
he himself.
I would, yes.
Ooh, but praise be to Allah. I am
Literally.
but I'll say this, but he said, you know what, but that a part of that was, I do remember him saying that he was worshiping the Christ, and that's wrong. That's why we do not worship Minister Farrakhan. We worship no flesh. But where I was going with that was within, because it still shows up in, he'll tell you about conversations he had in 75, 76, 77, even before Brother Jabril came to him and brought him that booklet that took the wool off of his eyes.
Mhm.
He didn't turn his back on Allah, not completely. He said, the Christ told him, y'all, you know, you're gonna fall. He said, we're gonna leave, not completely. It's gonna look dismal, but you're not gonna leave me completely. So he did not lead, and maybe that's what she held on to, and that's what she saw. Because Mariam, I know what came to save, I know what saved my life. So if you denounce like the teachings, like if you then denounce the teachings, then I, as your wife, will consult with Allah to let Allah know, how do you want me to leave him? Because he turned his back on the teachings. Like, I'm confused.
Right.
I cannot stay with someone that turned their back on the actual teachings of Allah God that we know came in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad. Now, if somebody needs a timeout, like, okay, you know, they stressing me out, I just need to go and sit down. I don't want to go to the mosque for a couple of months. Brother, you got to do, I need a happy home. So I'm going to support you. And I'm going to just put a good word in your ear and let you know that, you know, there's trial and that's okay, but you still got to come back home to the nation. Like, it is what it is. It is a lot of trial, but I want you to answer. Okay, so yeah.
Okay. I see a little slightly different.
Okay.
I see a little slightly different. Only because, okay. So when the nation fell in 75, the nation fell in 75. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just the minister fell, like the nation fell in 75. So that was a little bit of a different scenario because I don't even think it was a matter of Mother Khadijah following her husband into falling. It was a matter of the nation. Everybody fell. Yeah. Everybody fell, right? So, because remember, Mother Khadijah walked before the minister walked when they were accepting the teachings. She went up to go accept the teachings prior to, and the same with Mother Clara. She went and accepted the teachings prior to, and then got her husband and said, hey, we need this.
So he was stirring his words out there in the 30s.
I think you're saying something unique. Okay. So, and with that then goes into why I see a little bit different in if my husband is struggling with whatever's going on at the mosque, go back to the mosque.
All praises due to Allah.
Go back because life is a struggle. He goes to the plantation every single day. And he don't say, I'm struggling going to work for the white man, so I'm gonna take off a couple of days. You're gonna get fired.
You're gonna get fired.
You can't do that. They're gonna have no income. So you don't get to take breaks from your nation. The nation that we're striving to build in order to create an everlasting nation. There's no breaks for that. If you want to take a break, take off on Monday from the white man's job. You don't take a break from Muhammad.
All praises are due to him.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
That's a fact.
So, yeah.
My opinion has changed to what she said. My opinion has changed to what she said. We don't get no breaks, partner. I don't stop being a mama because my child getting on my last nerve.
Exactly. You can't take her back nowhere. She belongs to you.
You mean? Yes. This is why it's so much better to have a conversation.
Exactly. So yeah, like no. We can have my job is to be his consolation. I am the break. The mosque, leaving the mosque is not the break. When you come home, those 24 hours that you have in between having to talk to your captain again, that maybe getting on your nerves and talking to the minister or going soldiering, I am your consolation. I am your break. I'm gonna let you be a little rubber that had the baby, and then go. And then go build me a world.
Fight another day.
Go build me my hereafter. So it goes into how Mother Khadija and Mother Claire, may Allah be pleased, how they went ahead because 75% of the work is with us. If we start, think about it, Mar. Think about every past situationship, I'll call it that, situationship
Love it.
you've ever been in.
Mhm.
When you've ever settled for less than what you deserved, you got less than what you settled for. Would that be accurate?
It's always been nice. This is what I'm saying.
Exactly. Because when we lower our standard, the reality is I married a soldier. I intend to stay married to a soldier. He married an MGT. He should then intend on staying married to an MGT no matter what happens. I should maintain an MGT. The second we settle for less than what we know we deserve, we get less than what we settled for. And then all of a sudden somebody's smoking weed in the house.
That goes back to the morals. Don't let nobody compromise your morals. Now you taking off your headpiece. You out here walking it out with your clavage.
It's a mess. It's a mess.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Our job is to keep, we birth a nation. We birth a nation by starting with what we do at home. So we have to keep Islam at the forefront of the household at all times. And he needs to keep building the hereafter at the forefront of his mind at all times. So you go out there and build me a world that I can live in, that I can bring a child into this earth in. So yeah.
Praise to Allah. I'm so glad that I asked you that question. So now I don't have to have my mind confuddled.
Because when your sister said that to you, you tell her now. But she said, "Oh, if he goes, then I go."
I can't follow you to hell.
You can't follow you to hell now.
I can't follow you to hell. Okay.
The husband is only the head of the house because he's in alignment with the head of the universe. And soon, that's the only reason you only are the head of this household because Allah is the head of your mind. As soon as Allah is no longer the head of your mind, you're not the head of this household because there is no household. I got to go. I got to go.
You chastise me. He may chastise me. He said, oh, you gonna follow this fool after I gave you life?
You gonna let somebody send you back into death?
Yeah, no. Praise be to Allah. I didn't really mean to get on marriage, but so we're going to take a little backtrack. I want you to, I'm going to parse the word patience because chastity, it takes patience.
That's right.
I want my sisters to be encouraged to be patient. And so the definition of, first I'll do virtue or virtuous, which is having or showing high moral standards, chaste. And patience is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, problems, or suffering without becoming annoyed or anxious.
Because that's the key part.
That is the key part. You can say that you're waiting patiently, but when you're having fights with Allah in your mind, he's like, oh, okay. You're not being patient. You're not being patient.
Yeah, that's bad.
Some advice.
Paige.
She said, look, I can only go to the best of the best.
I can only go to what we know. Okay. Period. Page 154, and I'm glad I actually had to go into it already. Page 154, we was actually reading this yesterday in the women's circle. Again, Nationally Beautiful. If you don't have this book, ladies and gentlemen of the podcast, get this book. Beautiful enough, when I was courting my husband, my now husband, I told him that I was like, you want to read a book with me? And he was like, sure. And I was like, I want to read Naturally Beautiful with you. And that right there was honestly a test for him to see if he would actually get the book. And he got the book. He literally sent me a text message maybe like 4 days later and showed me, took a picture of the book. And I was like, come on now. And we started reading the book every night. Huh?
She said, we gonna get married.
We gonna get married.
I mean,
because this book is beautiful for that Black man that you desire for him to understand you at the depth of your core as a woman. That the things that we don't necessarily want to have to say about out of our mouths, this is a great leeway into conversation for y'all to have those conversations about you as a Black woman. And it does it without putting a microscope on him or making him feel attacked because you're not saying the words. She's saying the words. So y'all can have these conversations and then you can really see his mind based upon what he's reading and how he's relating to what the reading is and agreeing or disagreeing to what the reading is. It's a beautiful book to be able to actually see his mind because this book goes into the mind of a woman. So the way he reacts to this book is going to be the way he reacts to you as a woman. So praise to Allah, just responded quite good. With this book. Get the book. Get the book.
Well, I have the book, but I'll make sure whenever that courtship person comes along.
You gotta read it. Yeah. So she said
150 what?
154.
154?
Yeah. And this is to your question about patience and remaining chaste and all this stuff. She says, that's the second paragraph. If you are alone, stop spending all of your time being fearful you will never get a man. Spend this blessed, quiet time developing yourself so that you will draw a highly evolved man within your sphere. Stay out of trouble. Don't attempt to seduce men. God doesn't like it. Love being with yourself. The day will come when you wish you had the privacy all over again. Spend time expressing love and gratitude to your creator and treat yourself in a way that proves you are happy to be alive. When I tell you, when we read this yesterday on the Women's Circle, this right here is the sum total of why we suffer as women when we are single. This is what keeps us from having the husband that we desire. This is what kept me in my situation for as long as I did, because I couldn't stop thinking and being fearful of being alone. That I'm just never gonna get it in a lie. You just want me to be single. You want me to be 50 and single. I know it. And he's like, your husband is literally coming in a month and you are getting on my nerves. He's like, girl, you have no idea what you're talking about.
He yelled at me two nights ago before we did our voice messages. I was in the bed. Crying like Allah, I was crying. And I was like, Allah, are you going to make me wait like 6 or something years before? Am I going to be 40? Who told you that?
Who told you that?
I never said that. Shut up. Because I'm trying to tell you, honey, when the conversation was happening, I literally kind of like jerked myself because it was like, shut up. And I was like, oh, but you know, it's in my mind. And I was like, oh, dang. Well, I said, okay, then. I know you love me then. Okay.
He's like, you have no idea what I am doing. And you're making up stuff literally for you. And I think that's the other thing. We don't really, really believe that Allah is aware of our situation. We think that he's like punishing us. Like he's really, we have a judgmental mindset that we then place on Allah. That he's like, I saw what you did 3 years ago when you was doing such and such, and that's why you're suffering right now. And he's not worried about none of that. He's literally not worried about any of that. And we're sitting here like, I know I'm reaping the consequences of my actions from 3 years ago. And it's like, Allah's like, I'm the ever-present. You're the one full of anxiety and grief, worried about what's going on in the future that ain't happened yet. You stuck in the past about something that ain't going to happen ever again. It's gone. It's past. It's done. He's like, but I am the ever-present. I'm stuck in the now. I deal with the now. And right now, you tripping. Okay?
If it's in the past, you repent it, you learn the lesson, move on.
Move on. He's like, what did you think why do you believe I got you out of that situation? You could say that's a past situation because I brought you from death into life. Why are we crying about the past that he pulled us out of? As if Allah doesn't give us credit for striving. Like he gives us credit. That's why we're commanded to strive, because actually, this is on page 152, same chapter. As the God within self, this chapter is called The Woman Who Prays. As the God within self continues to grow in knowledge and understanding, we begin to think more like Allah God, and the time between a prayer and its answer grows shorter. That which you imagine becomes the reality within your sphere of influence. And I brought that up because that is a perfect mathematical equation for the opposite direction, right? So this is a good temperature check where she says, as the God within self grows in knowledge and understanding, we begin to think more like Allah God, and the time between the prayer and its answer grows shorter. Backwards is, if the time between my prayer and the answer that I'm getting is growing farther and farther, then I know I have separated myself from the knowledge of God and striving to be understanding and striving to understand him, which probably means I'm no longer prayerful. A sincere prayer, which probably means my prayers are full of doubt.
Yeah, gonna say faith. I was gonna say faith. Praying. We say, oh, you making a prayer, but you don't even think Allah gonna deliver. Oh, what you praying for?
What you praying for?
Why did you come to the prayer rug?
Wasting
time. This is Mariam confessing, because there would have been no tears.
Right.
If I was full of faith. Tears for who and for what? Oh, Allah.
It's going to happen. I think that's like, and then going back to that page 154, I wasn't spending time. I was spending my time being fearful that I would never get a man. I wasn't spending my time blessed, feeling blessed. I wasn't developing myself to draw a highly developed man into my life. I wasn't spending that quiet time with myself and developing myself, that Allah will then say, okay, I will then bring your husband, because you're ready for the one that you've been praying for. I wasn't staying out of trouble. Mm-hmm. The part where she says, those seduce men, I was seducing them with basically with posting up modest thirst traps. And we do it all the time. We post up modest thirst traps. We do. I
look pretty in this picture.
It's not that we desire to be pretty. It's not that we shouldn't desire for a man to see us as pretty. It's everything is the motive behind it. Yeah. Am I striving? Am I posting this up because I have a glob of lip gloss on and it's a modest? That's what I mean by a modest thirst trap. Am I posting this up as a representation of an MGT so the world can see the representation of MGT in a world full of foolishness and debauchery and the devaluement of women? Am I posting this up so that I can be the representation of an MGT? Or am I posting this up so that a brother can see my lips and see my lip gloss? And then my eyes are like, they're drawing him nigh. Like, we do this.
I love my sisters, but yeah, that'd be a little much.
We do this.
It'd be a little much. I'd be like, not in the head, he says. Lord, you still on a cam.
Like, we have to, the motive for everything, because like it says in the Holy Quran, Allah knows your heart. Mm-hmm. So we can say like, ain't nothing wrong with that picture, but the motive behind the picture, Allah already done.
And killing the God within. You're killing the God within using that deceptive intelligence. And that's not cultivating. So I wanted to go back to cultivating the God within. So, because I want to go back into not having friendship with males. It's just that point, plain simple, my beloved sisters and brothers. Mm-hmm. So protect yourself as well. And don't be offended when you are getting no reciprocity from your attempts, because it will not be reciprocated, because inappropriate. It's
Inappropriate.
it's inappropriate, and it's a protection for us both. It is a protection for us both. So within doing that, when you cultivate relationships or should not be friendships, and you do that, and then one party becomes emotionally attached to another party, and then nothing's going anywhere, there is no courtship happening, and then you become distraught, and then work isn't getting done, goals aren't getting met. That is not what love is supposed to be, nor is courtship supposed to be. You will get work done when you go through courtship properly, because you should be happy. Because if you're having problems, then maybe we don't need to be in this courtship. We're supposed to be discovering things. I've discovered you are not the one. Peace and blessings of Allah. And I'm going back to what I was doing before, continuing on with my work. But when you have now manifested a relationship out of a friendship, because it's essentially a relationship, you've manifested that, but nothing's happening because you're not in a courtship. And now you're like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing my work, but what is he doing? Oh my God, why is he not texting me? Why are we not talking right now? Nothing's happening that I want to happen. You're not stimulating the God within or cultivating the God within. You're not accomplishing those goals. You're not meditating on Allah. You may be meditating on Allah, but in a way that you should. You like Allah, so when are you going to let him text me or not? But Allah, are you going to tell him, because I'm sending it through you right now, tell him to text me? What?
Allah, if he texts me right now, let me know he's the one by him texting me right now. Like that's what we be doing. That's what we be doing.
Yo, it was you that posted that thing about independence. That kid. And he said, yeah, I want her to be independent of me. Child, her little feet was going. Her little feet.
It's so true.
Those is my feet.
It's so true. As I'm playing the video, Justin sitting next to me, he was like, I don't want no damn independent woman. I was like, I know you don't. You don't want no person.
Why are you to that? Now, oh Allah, because I was trying to go somewhere else for a second, but now he brought me here. So there's one more thing after this. So as most of us are, we are now grown women with children, some without, living an independent life. And I can only speak for myself that I'm slightly apprehensive on doing some things, because if I give myself everything, what is he going to give me? If I buy the land and build, because I want to build my house. If I buy the land and build the house without him, well, he gonna buy me out. He gonna pay me for it, because that's what he gonna have to do in order for it to be his. So I'm slightly moving a little slower. I'm like, oh no, yes, please, please.
I know what you mean. I am picking up what you are putting down. Yeah. Let me tell you something, sis. Buy the land. Okay. Build the house. You might find your husband and he's the contractor. You understand what I'm saying? Don't stop your life. Let me tell you what, I did not want to do the master call, because I did not want anybody to see me as an authoritative position and for men to see me as masculine. So I strived away from doing so many things that I wanted to do, because I didn't want to be seen as being independent of something. And the reality is, in our spiritual growth, dang, I thought I had some water. Yeah. In our spiritual growth, as long as we're working, like you said, with the morals intact and all that stuff, we find our husband there. We find our husband in the work. When we stop working, we may be stifling the fruition or the manifestation of our husband. I say that to say, remember in the beginning, I was like, I had a conversation with my mom earlier today. So I had a conversation with my mom. You know, sometimes you just got to get the lip gloss off, because it just feels like it's like caking up. I
feel like I'm salivating.
It's okay. So, had a conversation with her, and I was like, I feel like Allah makes it so that that two people, as they're coming towards each other in the timeline that they're almost kind of doing together.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my husband, when we went down what happened in like certain pivotal moments in our lives, where Allah like sat us down so we could get our stuff together, or where we was like super depressed, it was the same. It was like we were moving together so that we can meet each other at the time that we met each other.
How many years are y'all apart?
0 amount of years apart.
Oh, praise Allah. Y'all same year.
He's 26.
Oh, y'all same age. Praise be to Allah.
Yeah, he's a child. He's also a child like me. Yeah. He's
Hilarious.
his birthday is January 12th, mine is June 29th. So we're like
his birthday's coming up.
5-6 years. Yeah.
It's
coming up.
Praise be to
But
Allah.
I feel like, and then on the flip side, while I feel like we move in the same way so that we can meet each other at the time, like we kind of, our pathways cross each other because we're on the same road. So our pathways are going to then cross each other. But also I believe that if I stifle myself, that those moments where I was stifling because we're on the same pathway, if I stifle myself, I stifle him, because Allah wants us to meet at the time we're supposed to meet, that intersection when we're both on the same growth. But if I stop and he keeps going, we're not going to pass each other at the same time. He might have married somebody else. If he started getting his life together in 2014, he wouldn't have waited until 2021 to find his wife. A man that is spiritually advanced and spiritually ready, he's going to find his wife as soon as possible, because he needs somebody with the capacity to console him.
Mm-hmm.
The work and the mission the assignment that has been put on his shoulders, he needs somebody to console that. He maybe would have got married back in 2015 if he would have got himself together in 2014. But he started getting his life together the same year I got my life together. So we were able to have that meet at an intersection where we were like, we both had made a prayer literally that same month around the same time of Allah. If you want me to be single, then just let me be single and let me be happy being single. Within 2 weeks of us making that prayer, that's when we found each other. We made that prayer around the same exact time. We both came on that Zoom call for marriage, both thinking in our head, I don't really come on here for nothing, but I'm gonna just look like something and do my best.
Do my best.
We saw each other on the Zoom call at the same time.
Praise be to Allah.
We literally saw each other at the same time. We were like, hey, y'all, hey, man, I see you. So I was like, if you decide that you're gonna stop, not buy the land, not do the something, you may be stopping your husband who wants to be a contractor from getting his contracting degree or something, because Allah needs y'all to meet, be able to be in the same room at the same time because y'all on the same mission. Buy the land.
So sisters, just keep going.
Just keep going.
Just keep going. Start the business. Build the house.
He may be the person making your website.
All praises to Allah. I mean, literally, no, because that it goes into the whole femininity thing and being afraid of that. So all praises due to Allah. And that takes me to the last thing I want to talk about. When we have created these relationships and maybe finances you think could be a factor or something, I want you to tell them what you told me. You said that finances are never a factor. If that man wants you and sees you as his wife, come rain, come sleet, come hail, he gonna make it be known. No matter what.
No, that's a fact.
So let us not, as sisters, as women, make rationale in my mind, or in our minds, oh, well, he's just not ready because of his finances. He's just not ready because he don't want you. And all praise is due to Allah. Get him out of the way so your husband can come in. You can do what you like.
So I think we had this conversation in the voice memos, right? Yeah, the voice memos. And I was saying that I was in a
voice memos
being married. And I can say this now because I am married and my husband knows my life situation. I was in a situation prior to for a very long time. And when I tell you, I believed in my soul that the issue was just the finances. Once he gets the finances, everything else is going to go into play, because that's what he keeps saying. It's finances, finances, finances. No, it's a relationship. He doesn't want it.
I want you.
It's too much. It was too much for him to handle. And I believe as much as he may have wanted it to work out, and he even maybe in his mind thought it was the finances, the reality is in the recesses of his mind, he knew it wasn't the finances. He knew he wasn't ready. And he told me over and over again. And then I rationalized it in my head. He's pushing me away because he thinks that I'm thinking about his money. I don't care about the money. I want you. And he's like, but I want you to go. I don't want you. I don't want this situation. I don't want to be a husband. I don't want to do it. If I wanted to do it, I would have done it already. I would have found a way. And also with that, and I told my husband as we were recording, I was like, I truly, and I thank Allah so much, because I truly believe that I was stifling that brother's life. Because if I were to, number one, we were not doing it in the lines of courtship. So for the sisters again, courtship works. Courtship works. It gets the job done. What the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has put in place works. He didn't get it from himself. He got it from the God. It is handcrafted by the God for it to work. And it works 100% of the time, even if y'all don't finish in marriage. It worked in saying, we try and this doesn't work for us and we don't have any hard feelings. We can go on and you are still brother such and such and sister such and we can continue the mission. But regardless, when courtship is done right, it works 100% of the time. Just like How to Eat to Live. Everything we have in place, it works. But I feel like I was stifling him because one, we weren't doing it under the guise of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and these teachings. And I couldn't ask Allah to bless a relationship that he wasn't a part of. The audacity of me, Allah, please let us get married. And he's like, I'm not even in, oh, now you want to call on me, but y'all wasn't living in sin all this time. Like, girl, your prayer is going unheard. Okay. The amount of times I heard this, I felt this from Allah, like Allah mushing me out the way too many times, okay? So that, and if he would have gotten the money that we so badly thought was the answer to our situation, we would have been in an unhappy marriage and realized after he got the money that we didn't even like each other.
Woo, Jesus.
Like, we're not even supposed to be here. So I feel like he can have a successful life now. And I prayed to Allah when I knew that Justin was my husband. I was like, Allah, let this brother have the most successful, happy life. Let him find his woman and know that I'm not the one that got away. I'm not the one that got away. I wasn't your wife.
I was not your wife.
I wasn't your wife. And I don't want him to feel bad about that. And I didn't want to feel bad about that. Like, oh, I'm having to make this hard decision. He's the one that got away. You're not the one that got away. You are my husband.
Facts.
This wasn't my husband.
Facts.
So now he could be successful because that money was not for me. That money that he's supposed to get to be successful is for his wife.
So no acrimony, okay?
Be happy.
That crazy movie Acrimony.
Yes, exactly. And I didn't want to be Taraji and die. Okay. I didn't want to be the one to die at the end of the movie because I done lost my mind. So yeah, but a man that, and it's not like Justin is the most richest man in the world, but he made it happen.
Facts.
He got the ring.
Thank you.
He made it happen. That brother ain't never asked me for a dime. A dime. He worked everything out. He switched jobs. Like, it was so smooth. I had no idea what he was doing behind the scenes. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, I'm starting my new job with such and such. And I'm like, first of all, he got a second job. As we were courting, he had a second job to be able to pay for flights and get the ring. I didn't have any idea that he had even got a second job. And so one day I was like, hey, you did call me such and such. And he was like, oh, I just left my second job. You left your second job?
Yeah. Oh, you're planning on another job.
What? He switched switched jobs like in between.
It
happens. Like in the middle. I had no idea what he was just saying, like, oh, I'm studying for this, studying for that. I had no idea he was studying to be able to be what he is now. I had no idea. He just was like, oh, I'm starting such on Monday. Starting what? Oh, that's what I was studying for.
Oh, you know.
Because the reality
he know what he's doing. He know who out there making it happen.
He making it happen, whatever it is. And then
so take that.
That puts a lot of security, because as women, we just want to be secure. We're actually very fragile. We just want to be made secure. That's why we test the men so much. I want to see that you are able to withhold, you are able to maintain me. I want to know that you're able to maintain. I want to know that you're able to provide. And that gave me a level of security, because I just know no matter what, he's going to make it happen. And I don't have to be a part of the process of him making it happen. He got this.
That ain't nothing but Allah.
Ain't nothing but Allah.
That ain't nothing but Allah. Friend, I love you so much.
I love you
so much. I'm so thankful that you came to have this conversation with me. And I pray to Allah that whatever sister or brother hears is that they are able to submit their will to the will of Allah and start living righteously, operating righteously within the relationships that we have. Do the work. Let's build the nation within and without of the nation of Islam, because it's going to be more than just us. And I'm going to also link, there is a courtship thing coming up for anyone that you know. You never know.
Make sure you go to it.
I paid my $5. There's a little $5 cover. So, you know, as a sister Aneesa says, sisters, come in your best mother Marys, you know, make sure.
Your best mother Mary. Because even though we're striving to be chaste, doesn't mean that we're striving not to be chaste. CHASED. No, we are maintaining ourselves, but that does not mean that we don't want a man to come and sweep us off of our feet. So at all times, I look kind of okay, but this don't count for me right now. Okay, I just
no. Well, actually, because that says wifey, so she at home being a whole wife.
I'm at home
being a whole wife, and that's the thing. I had to realize, Mariam, stop coming on these calls like you married. You're not. You're not. We be trying it. And we be telling ourselves, well, I'm not really looking right now. Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
wait. This is a great way. Hold on, wait.
Because we be lying.
This is a great closer router. So Mama Ava, okay, she says on page, I'm almost there. She says it on the page that I am coming upon, which is page 34. Okay.
What page?
She says,
what page?
34.
34.
And this is to the beauty of us as women. Spiritually, intellectually, emotionally, and physically, in every single aspect of our existence, our goal is to be beautiful. Indeed, in our very quintessence, we are to completely represent beauty. When we unnaturally suppress the deep desire to be beautiful, when we pretend that we don't really care how people view us, when we claim we do not care about our appearance, then we deny the very essence of our being. Allah God created the Black woman as the very embodiment of all that he considers beautiful.
I'm going to make a lot of women shed some tears.
Girl. And she just goes on and on and on and on.
Breathing life into these dead bones.
So we should absolutely want to at all times feel beautiful, even as married women. We don't show him in courtship. A man wants to be married to the person that he fell in love with.
What is your role? The minister said, all right now, you sit around and looking like who, maybe it wasn't what is your role? Maybe it was on how to give her side.
It was know your role.
It was know your role. Or what is your role? I think it's titled What is Your Role? But okay, so in that, getting married and then falling off. Like you said in the beginning, I married an FOI. Don't come over here looking like 3 meals a day. Okay. Pork chops and beans. Who are you?
He's like, I married Ace Anna. I don't know who.
I don't know.
Why you looking like me? We got to be beautiful at all times and strive our best. Like, strive our best to maintain our beauty, because that's what it keeps the beast that's outside, the beastly women that want our men. It keeps them not necessarily from off of him, because they're going to want what they want, but it keeps him from wanting what's outside. Like you said earlier today, I don't see you because I'm married.
I'm married. And she fine.
So yeah.
They put on some lip gloss. Why he got to come home from hell and come in the house?
Exactly. Come home to hell.
God, what?
From hell to hell, looking like
Woman,
hell.
did you wash this morning?
Smell like hell.
No,
Hell.
I've been. Oh, praise be to Allah. I think that's perfect. So those pages, I'm gonna read them back to y'all, sisters, so you can get naturally beautiful. She read chapter 8, page 60, page 133, page 154, and page 34 just now. And obviously, I'm going to be going back to study for myself since I missed the women's circle yesterday. All of those things will be linked below. The Women's Circle, which we meet every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And we also have, hosted by Sister Aneesa, the Master Call, which is every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern. And those are
We're having a field trip. We're having a field trip today.
Oh yeah, come. Praise be to Allah. I be so excited. I be loving field trips. And it's like I want to be a part of the field trip, but technically I am a part of the field trip. But you know when you be in the chat and you be talking, you be like, no. So that part. So alhamdulillah, all that stuff is going to be listed below for all of you, as well as ministerava.com, so you can get these books of knowledge as well as NOI stuff. So I want to thank you again, Sister Aneesa, for coming on. I'll, of course, let you greet the believers and the family so you can greet them properly out.
And I leave you as I came before you in the greeting words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, family, I thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mariam Alima. What do you know about Islam? And inshallah, I'll see you on the next time around. Peace.
Thank you. Bye.